This podcast is brought to you by the award-winning prop firm Fidelcrest. Trading Nut, episode 207.
You gotta think. You gotta really stop and think and remove yourself from that retail frame of mind, which is honestly extremely hard to do. But like this market has a purpose, and the system, the main purpose for this market is liquidity generation and liquidity insurance. Like if you're in a position and that position is large enough to move a market, it's not easy to get out of that position, right? So there is a system in place to ensure that institutions and banks can always close their trades out.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the Trading Up podcast. Not just another one. This is the final one of 2022. Going into 2023 next week. Can't believe it. What a year it's been. Now, today, folks, we have a trader who's going to remain anonymous. He's going to remain anonymous. He's goes by the name of Scott Free, and he is one of these guys that's actually learnt, and it's probably quite a good way to end the show. He's learnt from a couple of traders that have featured on Trading Nut across the course of this year. So he's learnt how they trade, and he's applied to what he's doing. And he's managed to get himself funded 3 times and grow an account 50%, scaled one of those funding accounts once, and he's quit his day job and now trades full time. We also shot a video after the interview where he breaks down some of the things that he does on a chart. So it's a bit of a different video, but it's there to, I suppose, inspire you, give you ideas and that sort of thing. So not your typical one, but worthwhile checking out. Now, yes, as I mentioned, it's 2023 coming up, New Year's Eve just around the corner for me. Do want to say thank you to everyone who has supported the channel across 2022. I do wish you a happy new year and hope that 2023 brings you a lot of success and a lot of joy as we kill it here over at Trading Nut. Now, other things on that, we are going to come up with some new kind of content here on Trading Nut, so stay tuned for that. I won't spoil it just yet. And if you have any ideas yourself, just chuck them in the comments and we'll see which one of those we might pick up as well. All right, folks. Now, before we jump into the episode, a couple of things first. I've decided to extend my Robot Builders Club Christmas offer into the new year, so it is going to be running up until just after New Year's Eve, and there are 2 amazing bonuses on top of the first ever bonus, which is a boot camp. So it's a boot camp for anyone that joins in this promotional period. So if that's one of you guys that have already joined, great. I'll see you at the boot camp early January. If not, if you haven't joined yet, this is your chance to join Robot Builders Club. Learn the skill to automate your trading without doing any coding at all. All right, folks. Now, before we jump into it, talking about extending offers, so have my sponsor Fidelcrest. They've extended their Christmas offer as well. Yes, you get 2 challenge accounts for the price of 1. So to check out more on that, let's have a look at their ad, then get on with the interview. Hey folks, great news. My sponsor Fidelcrest are running their mega Christmas offer again until December 25th, 2022. You get 2 trading challenge accounts for the price of 1. Simply use promo code XMAS-2 for 1 at checkout, and to get started, simply click the link in the description. All right, folks, here we are on Trading Up. We've got a bit of a special kind of episode for you here. So two of my past guests have a student, and this student has decided, and we'll find out why in a second, to come on the show and talk to us. Doesn't want the video on, which makes sense, like a private trade. A lot of the good ones out there are. And I'll tell you who the mentors were that one of them recommended him. Andre recommended him. So it was Andre Stewart and Paul Scott. So he's been taught by both of those guys. He's got a bit to reveal today. So welcome to the show, Scott Free.
Hey, mate. How's it going?
Good, very good. Now, to start the show off, I do want to find out why you decided to come on and share your story and share what you're going to share, not just in this interview, but also in a chart breakdown afterwards.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, I guess for me, it's like I was given access to some really good pools of information, and I figured some things out. And for a long time, I feel like before I made money from these things, I was so stressed and kind of like nervous about sharing them, and always kept it secret to myself. But I guess you just kind of realize that, trading has been around for so long, and so many people have had access to good information over the years. And on a retail level, like nothing that anyone is taught will change the outcome of a system working profitably or not profitably. And, now that I've made money, I just feel like kind of a switch, and I just want to like share this with people, because awesome. I feel like retail traders just aren't given the opportunity. Like the information that is out there, and especially the mainstream information, is just like so subjective. And it shocks me. And the more removed I am from looking at anything like that, the more I realize that it's just not market reality. And yeah, I guess I just want to do that.
Brilliant. So you just want to come on and share, which is what this show's all about. So that's fantastic. And I don't know what you're going to share with us today. I mean, I know what Paul and Andre do. So I'll be interested to hear sort of your take on their various very different styles. So to start off with, we're going to get your stories, how you got into trading, and your journey to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been trading for almost 3 years. I started trading stocks originally. So basically I got into trading because I was working a full-time job. I worked a full-time job and I was over it. And I just got a little bit of money, and I decided, okay, like, how can I make this small amount of money give me the life that I want? It's basically what all people think, when they get into trading.
Yep.
I started out trading stocks, just not very well, had some wins and some losses. And then eventually I got into Forex. I went pretty hard. I think that the way that I was raised a single parent only child. So this sort of environment allowed me to really develop a strong level of focus, because I didn't have any distractions or brothers and sisters, anything like that. So I was really able to apply myself with trading, and it's working out quite well for me.
Okay, so let's dive into that. So like we really want to get that sort of full on journey. Like, what was your first bit of information that you got, the education you got before you dove in, or did you not bother and just signed up with a broker and went away for it? How did that all play out?
No, I started out just like with some really basic entry-level information. And then I realized that I think the thing about me is that I was able to trust myself, that like not only was like along the way, if I wasn't doing well, I was able to trust that like it wasn't just because I wasn't capable. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't just always boil it down to like, I can't do this. I was able to be in touch with the fact that I don't think that this information is really it,
Right. So you're able to distill like, okay, well, I think there's more to it than what I'm doing. I need to investigate further.
Yeah, because I feel like retail traders, and especially when you enter into an industry, there's a lot of crap per se, and as a newbie or a novice, you come in and you instill trust in someone, and you want to believe that you've come in and found this thing that works. Right. And it's going to be it. But, the truth is that like some people never, ever find that. And some people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, on courses and things like that, and they never find it. So I was able to just keep at it. And I think that. And
how were you able to do that? How were you able to sort of like ascertain that, okay, this thing's not working. I need to find out more. What were the key actions you were taking at that point?
God, I think that I was just really trying to think logically, and trust my own judgment of first of all, the characters of the people who are teaching me, and then the results of the students, and, this, that, and, like, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that, like, what people are really doing to move the market isn't going to be taught, and you're especially not going to find it as soon as you enter the space,
Right. Okay. So you were sort of almost very skeptical about whatever you had signed up for,
yes.
And that was your sort of default starting position. Was I'm skeptical until I see some kind of something. You weren't one of these two like it's too good to be. You were almost like if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and that was your starting point. Whereas a lot of people, if it sounds too good to be true, are like, great, get me in there. I'm keen. I'm going to sort of throw everything at it. Okay, right. So what kind of things were you trying back then?
What was I trying back then? Well, I definitely I was using fibs. I was like doing all sorts of things like that, like fibs, focusing a lot on fibs and structure for a long time, and then like I was infected with the whole like order block liquidity thing, like on YouTube and all those sorts of things. So I went down all those paths, and I guess the only time, and I want to say that I was the perfect amount of skeptical and naive from my perspective, because you have to be naive to keep, going for these things. And it's just really important, especially in trading. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, like, I just don't think it's going to happen, because it's extremely difficult. Like, trading is not easy when you're learning how to do it. When you're grinding, it's very difficult, because you're essentially trying to like unwire or rewire your brain. We're not made to do this.
Now put yourself in front of the computer. I mean, what were you doing on the PC? Were you trying to trade 1 minute charts live, or were you back testing or something else?
Well, no, I was definitely just trading like demo accounts and a live account. I did a little bit like trying to copy like trade signals in the beginning, and then kind of learned through that a little bit. But yeah, mainly I was trading lower time frame, using fibs and structure, trying to make it happen.
And how many hours a day?
Well, this is just when I first started. Yeah. I was probably spending at the charts like maybe 3 hours a day. Like, I'd wake up and try and trade the Aussie Open before work, and then I'd trade like London in the evening over here for me in Australia. Maybe even more, to be honest. I was probably staying up really late, like with a gambler's mindset or something, just like trying to escape the rat race. You know, that sort of escapism aspect of it.
Okay, and so when did things start to shift for you?
Well, I mean, things definitely shifted for me. Let me just think, like, because I was really getting somewhere with my trading just before I reached out to Andre, and then like being his student and going through all of his information. That is sort of like really where I was able to combine what I was doing before with a little bit of what he was, or the tools that he provides,
Okay, and just from that, like, you said I was really getting somewhere with it just before you reached out to him. And at that point, what were the signs that you were seeing that you were getting somewhere?
Well, at that point, it was like my first experience of recognizing repetition in the market. And for a trader, repetition is simply just opportunity. Like, if you can see something repeating itself, like if you look at a market long enough, you're going to see something repeating itself, because the market does do the same thing over and over again, whether that's specific price action, whether that's reacting to specific levels. So if you can see that happening over and over again, and then maybe predict when and where it happens, even if it's only like a few pips, like I say that a lot, like even if it's only a few pips, you can leverage that few pips,
Yeah. Okay. So can you talk us through maybe some stats at that point? What were your trading stats looking like?
No, I definitely wasn't profitable at that point, but
okay.
I was getting somewhere
Right.
with realizing these things. Like I had noticed a specific, I can say that it's price action pattern and also candlestick pattern, depending on time frame, really. But this specific pattern repeated itself, and from this point, like large moves erupted. So I was able to kind of like understand, like, oh no, this is actually possible. There is some sense in this market.
Right. Okay. And it wasn't to do with order blocks or smart money concept or anything like that. It was what you'd just seen when you were looking at the charts. Like this keeps happening, and righty-ho. Okay. And
well, actually, wait. Let me say it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it probably, you could probably find a way to say that it was to do with smart money concepts or order blocks, because it's all so subjective.
Yeah.
Like there's a way to make everything look like it might happen, or that it's like it is that or this, if you're focusing on price action, you know, like, and that's why I mainly just focus on price.
Okay, cool. So, okay, you sign up with Andre, you're getting taught from him, things start to open up and become even more clear. So talk us through that.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a steep learning curve, and because, you know, that information is not out there and it's completely different to anything that I had seen before. So it took me a while to grasp things, and a few people in that group kind of clued me up a little bit and helped me figure things out. And then I just decided, you know, I was in the Discord in that group, and I realized that it was kind of unhealthy for my trading, because I wasn't focusing on my trading. I was focusing on getting trades and sending screenshots or something like that. Like it was just, and I just realized that, and I went, okay, like I actually really want to make this happen, you know? So I left that Discord for a period of time, and I just like went full focus mode into trading. And I can remember a key moment. I just did like a classic thing, and I would recommend this to anyone who's trying to figure something out, or, you know, make something of trading, is I printed out like 100 pages of price action with not just bare price action, like price action with the tools that I was familiar with to recognize things in the market. So, you know, for people that could be like maybe one simple indicator that they're used to seeing. Because if you just look at price action by itself and you're not familiar with it, it can be more difficult to recognize things without maybe one or two really simple tools. Basically, I printed out 100 pages of price action, and I went through every single candlestick with a pencil, basically.
Was this on the same market or on like different markets? And what time?
No, I just did the euro to begin with, but I've done this on pretty much every pair over time.
Okay. And what time frames did you choose?
I did all the different time frames.
Okay.
So when I say 100 pages, I don't know, like it's roughly 100 pages. You know, there was like a stack of them, and it was all the different time frames. So I would put like the monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, like on my table. I would stack them on top of each other and just go through them. And like I wouldn't put too much pressure on actually noting every single candlestick on every single page, but I was just trying to like see into the market, not through a screen, through a medium that I was more comfortable with, which is paper. Yeah. You know, because it's different when you view a market on paper.
Yeah.
Really different.
Yeah. Okay. And so what did you discover from that process?
Well, I noticed more repetition. Like it's like one of these things that, even though I believed in myself a lot, I probably deep down didn't really believe that I would see the things that I saw, you know? So yeah, I noticed more repetition. And from that, the backbone of my first and probably best short-term and long-term strategy was built. Right. That I was trading profitably just before I met Paul.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting. I mean, can I ask what the one or two indicators were that you had on the chart to try and give you like some bearings?
No, those indicators essentially would be part of Andre's material, so I wouldn't be able to share them.
Okay, right. That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're just really, really simple. Like it's not an indicator that looks like an indicator. You know, we're just talking about price here.
Right. Okay.
Only trade price. So.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So then you met Paul, and what happened from there? So also, actually, before you met Paul, had you become profitable with what you discovered?
Yeah. So I was just profitable, just getting to the stage where I was like, okay, like this is working. I was trading my own account just with like, I don't know, like $1,000 or something. And I was trusting myself. I was seeing results. I was predicting things, like I was just really like getting some steam underneath me. And honestly, I don't even know why I went and reached out to Paul, because I was getting somewhere, right, with my trading. You would think that is the last stage, but I think it just comes down to that thing where I listened to a podcast or an interview with Paul, and I just thought about it for a while, and I just like weighed it up, and I thought like, this dude can't be lying because of these few reasons. And doesn't matter if I'm going well right now, this information could seriously help me. And it's, that's like one of the best decisions I've made that I easily could not have made.
Yeah. Okay. And so just before you got to Paul, I mean, you said $1,000, things were going in the right direction. I mean, can you give us some stats around that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like some trades, I was making like 7% per trade. Now I was risking like 1% per trade, which is extremely high risk for me now. But I think honestly, like I don't have that account anymore. I don't trade my own money. I just trade prop firms now.
Right.
But it was consistent enough for me to be telling you right now that I was profitable back then.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So you reached out to Paul, and I don't know if you folks have seen Paul's interview on the channel, but it's well worth checking out. We've had him on the show. So what happened there?
Well, he showed me what he does, and it took me a while to kind of appreciate the information that he was sharing with me. Like sometimes I still just think about it, and I just think that this is just, it's crazy that he decided to do what he does and share this information, because there's not a single other person has done it before. So basically he showed me what he does and taught me all the things that he teaches people. And now at this current point in time, I trade a combination of what he taught me and the tools that Dre teaches. And yeah, like that's what I'm doing. And I have a long-term system that I trade primarily, and also short-term systems around the other things that I figured out around Paul's information. Yeah.
Right. And so was it easy enough to sort of integrate Paul's? I mean, I know Paul showed levels that, or I think it was 1 or 2 levels on a chart, and the reasons of why he showed them when he came on, and I think he showed 1 level. And after we actually did the interview, he showed me all the levels. He painted them all out on the MetaTrader for me. And to be honest, I didn't do anything with them. But I know that he's got these levels there, and obviously Andre's stuff. I haven't looked at Andre's stuff for years now, but I do know, like in the back of my mind, what he does. So was it easy enough to piece these two together? And how much, if you had to give a weighting on like Paul versus Andre, what was that weighting like?
Yeah, sure. So I think I was pretty comfortable and familiar with all the tools like Andre. So look, both ways are super logical, right? So if something is logical, it's pretty easy to kind of just put them together, or just like view the market. It's not like there's 2 really technical ways of viewing the market. It's like there's one Andres, which is really logical, and then there's 2 Pauls, which in my opinion is just completely undeniable and ridiculous. And it's so simple. I see the information that Paul shares as being so simple, like that it is almost undeniable. I mean, I think it's interesting, because I did see like people have a look, had a comment on that video where Paul shares price action, and I just thought like, wow, like the reason why people don't think that it's like tangible is because it's too simple. Like, and that's like a classic cliche thing to say, that like as humans we overcomplicate things, etc. But it's like what do you want? Like, do you want things to be complicated for yourself? Because it's like trading has to be taught to all different types of people, right? And the way that the market really works, like there's a system, like you gotta really stop and think and remove yourself from that retail frame of mind, which is honestly extremely hard to do. But like this market has a purpose, and the system, the main purpose for this market is liquidity generation and liquidity insurance. Like if you're in a position and that position is large enough to move a market, it's not easy to get out of that position, right? So there is a system in place to ensure that institutions and banks can always close their trades out, and it's a game, really. Like there's winners and losers. And the only constant is that game keeps getting played because it must be played, because otherwise, the financial system will not function if this game does not keep being played, essentially.
Right. Read into that as you will, people, because I think that's like, there's a lot of information in those two sentences.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is. But it's extremely difficult to comprehend, I feel like, from a retail standpoint. Like simple things work, essentially.
So how much of the Scott-free paper strategy was in this, combination of Andre and Paul?
Well, it depends, because I trade a long-term system primarily, and then I have a short-term system that I was trading a lot just before Russia and Ukraine. And then since Russia and Ukraine, I have taken a wide berth from short-term trading. But honestly, what I do now is... Are you asking like what percentage?
Oh yeah, sort of what percentage of like the paper stuff that you came up with are you using alongside what Andre's taught you and what Paul Scott's taught you?
Well, I'd say it's different, because the way that I view a market logically is to do with what Andre's taught me. The way that the levels that I used to trade from is what Paul has taught me. And then all of the rest of the things, like maybe the way that I enter, etc., is that's all my own.
That's all your own. Okay.
Yeah, because what I'm familiar with and comfortable with, and it's just like, people like big players in the market, or whatever you want to call them, they leave footprints, so try to find those footprints.
Awesome. Now, you talked about prop firms there, so obviously at some point you decided, right, I think I'm, my $1,000 account's not cutting the mustard. I want to leave my job and start earning something that's going to pay, cover the wages and that. So how did that foray into prop firms work out for you? Well, not work out. How did it start and how did it go?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I was after I had gone through all Paul's information. I combined the two things. I did a ridiculous amount of back testing on everything, like back as far as I could, just on software at Bex. I was super confident in the strategy. I was trading demo, and then I was trading live, my own accounts. And then I just went, okay, like why the hell wouldn't I just do a funded account right now? So I just went with my Forex funds first, and I got funded. And it's like it's a pretty big moment for a trader who is trying to make it when you first get funded. So I was kind of over the moon at that point. And then I just went for a couple of other ones. So I went for a funding challenge with Lux, which is another prop firm, and I got funded with them. And then I did another challenge with my Forex funds. So I've got 3 accounts in total. And yeah, I mean, it's going pretty well. Like I've made over 50% in the last 12 months. I've got a friend who has been trading exactly the same, pretty much as me. And he's got a couple accounts as well, funded accounts. So I don't know, like it's going pretty well. I've had one account scaled.
And what at what point did you sort of leave your job and think, okay, well now I'm ready to give up this full-time gig?
Yeah, so I think that is kind of a really good question, and it's an important answer as well. Like when I first got my first funded account, at that point, I decided to take the leap of faith. when I first got my first funded account, and I wasn't necessarily set up to do that, but I just decided mentally to completely go for it. And I think that it was the best decision. Like, I think that you have to take that leap of faith with your trading at the right time. And it might be sooner than you think, because if you can apply your full attention to something, day in, day out, you're going to learn a lot more, and you're really going to speed up the process. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously you can't recommend someone to leave their job in this world, but yeah.
Yeah, it does open up the time that you otherwise, not just the time that you're doing a job, time you're commuting, and also the time that the mental, I suppose, decision making you have to doing in that job. You can now sort of relieve yourself of that, and obviously focus all your attention on trading. Now, let's dive into some of the stats around what you're doing, like if win rates, risk to reward ratios, that sort of thing. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
How many trades?
Yeah, totally. So I have a 33% win rate consistently, but I hedge all of my trades. So if I'm calculating my winners minus those hedged losses, I have a higher win rate, right? But I don't really pay much attention to that. I just go with 33. I typically don't look at anything under a 1 to 5, and I average around a 1 to 8. My largest trade taken this year was a 1 to 12. The time frame that I trade is kind of irrelevant, but I don't, because I just trade price, right? But I don't really go much lower than the H4 ever. I trade 6 majors, so that's GU, EU, AU, NU, UC, and UJ. Don't have more than 3 trades open in a market at any one time. I only use limits and stops. I trade institutional short term, so that's 2 to 4 weeks, with most trades over within 1 week of entering. Sometimes I get a longer trade, sometimes I don't.
Okay, so sorry, did you say how many trades on average you take a week?
How many trades on average I take a week? It's usually like 1 to 2, but I can go periods of time like 2 weeks with no trades. So
okay, so it's okay. And so how did you get around the prop firm rules, or passing a challenge where you've got to trade 10 days or whatever it is, and you got to do that consecutively. So you had it because you would have had to possibly trade more frequently, I'm guessing, at that point, or anything like that pop up?
Yeah, for sure. Like I had to take micro trades, to get my trading days up.
So you'd just you'd do your normal trades and then just drop the risk and get some, do some extra trades within the time period. Okay,
totally.
Right.
I just open and close a trade, on the days that I need to. But
right.
But yeah, I mean, this is the other thing about like the challenges. Like, I think that unless you have like really, really high win rate and you have like a super consistent system, I think that everyone gets a little bit lucky with those things, like I know a lot of traders that are very profitable and, they have a lot of money with these prop firms, and they go for challenges regularly, and they fail some and they win some, so it's like you get a little bit lucky that the parameters are ridiculous. Yeah. Like seriously, if you think,
tight. Yeah.
If you can make more than 10% in a year, right? Just more than 10% in a year, a bank will give you money, like as much money as you want. And that's from experience through a friend. Like those words were said to him. So it's like you're being asked to make that in 30 days. And it's just like, it's outrageous. But honestly, I do think that we're in the golden era of retail trading still, because these opportunities, even though the parameters are tight, like this was never possible 10, 20 years ago. Like it was impossible. You had to trade your own money and lend with your own money and lose your own money, essentially. So
yeah, no, they're great. And look, I mean, the spot, it just reminds me of my sponsor, Fidelcrest, they only ask you to make 5% with a 10% drawdown on their smaller accounts, though. But larger accounts, I think it is still 10%. But it's still that is actually quite a good way to get in and just make yourself some money to even afford a bigger account. Okay, brilliant. That's a great breakdown of your stats. The 33% win rate's interesting in terms of, I mean, how did you sort of like get around the sort of psychology side of that? You know, being able to lose 70% of your trades, and you did talk about the hedging thing in there. Does that somehow offset that 33 from a mindset point of view?
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, as I said, like from all the things I use to get my win rate, just like on my accounts or my statements or my, like my account analyzers, etc. It just tells me it's 33%, and that's pretty much the same win rate that I got when I was backtesting. But because I'm hedging every single trade, if my trade hits this take profit, there is a loss there as well from the hedge that was stopped out on the way to that take profit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay,
so I probably have a higher win rate than 33%, but I just go with that because I am super at peace with that. My system, right? So I have losses, of course. And how did I conquer that? I mean, it's hard, dude. Like, it's honestly, for me, it's just experience, but also it's trust in my system. I wouldn't have as much trust in my system as I do now if I hadn't been through things with this system. Like, first of all, I've done all the backtesting that you could ever do with it. Like, there's no more backtesting that I could do unless I purchase like a ridiculous amount of old data, which will be difficult to backtest anyway. I have been through, so when I first got funded, which was a year and a half ago or something like that, I had 2 great months in a row and made withdrawals or whatever, like life's good. And then I was using too much risk, right? And this is how I learned that. Basically, over a week or so, everything went wrong that could possibly go wrong. And I learned a lot of lessons, but I suffered a 10% drawdown, right? And with the prop firm that I was with, you can only have a 12% drawdown in total. So it was a huge wake-up call for me. Like, first of all, like, I was still in the retail mindset using 1% risk, which is just, ridiculous, really. So I realized that I had to halve my risk, and I halved my risk from that point. So I suffered the 10% loss. I halved my risk, and then I made that 10% back. So if I was using the same risk, that's 20% essentially, right? And then I got that account scaled in the end. So I made another 10%. Like, I've never gone back with my risk. I just used half, 0.5. Now, so that helped, like, coming out of that drawdown with half risk and then getting that account scaled. It's like, wow, I can really trust my system. Like, losses happen. It's part of trading. You have to lose to win. Like, you just realize these things over time, I think. It's not easy.
Yeah. No, and so another thing, a question I got around this is, like, you talked about limit stop orders. You're obviously placing these orders. Are you placing the orders at the same time every day, or are there times when you have to get up in the middle of the night? How does that all work?
So I can just run you through, like, my day or something?
Yeah, your trading day is probably the way to go.
Yeah, okay. So I wake up naturally around 6:30, 7. I'll just, like, check my positions on my phone. I've got MT4 on my phone. If I need to go to the computer to close a position or put new orders in or document my trade or something, like, I'll just do that first thing in the morning. After that, I'll eat breakfast, go surfing, do whatever I want to do with my day, like just hang out with my dog and my partner and chill. And then pretty much, like, I'm out in the world, and I think that it's been maybe like 3-4 hours since I have seen what the market is doing, and I'll just open my phone and go have a look, and then that's it. And then pretty much before bed, I'll just do the same thing. So I'll just, like, manage my positions. Like, I'll just, like, put new orders in, close this trade out for whatever reason. Maybe I've hit take profit, maybe not, stop loss, who knows.
And so you're doing most of this via your phone, or?
No, I don't. I do all of my managing on my computer, but, like, I'll check the trades on my phone for sure.
Right, okay.
I've definitely closed some trades out on my phone as well when I've been, like, away or camping or something.
And so one question I got around the 33% win rate, and, like, I mean, do you ever miss a position that would have gone on to win? And if,
yeah, for sure.
Essentially, like, you missed the winning position out of your out of your 33% win rate, you missed the one that won, and then you sort of know, well, there's a chance I could now get another, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions that a losing before I get another winning opportunity. Is that ever a thing that happens?
Honestly, like not really. And yeah, like just keep in mind that because I'm hedging the trades, like my win rate of trades that take profit is a higher percentage. So honestly, I don't think about that too much. And, I haven't had sustained periods of drawdown that I haven't been able to come out of, as of yet. And the same thing goes with my back testing. I mean, look, man, any good system, any average to good system is going to have drawdown, like ridiculous systems that I don't know about or can't be proven to exist. Like they don't have any drawdown and they just go up or whatever like that. But I think that you're more in reality if you just come to terms with the fact that, like you're going to have drawdown. And if your system has high enough risk to reward, you're going to come out of that drawdown. Like this year, I did miss one 20R trade, and that's like there's a space between two levels on a certain pair that offers that much, and that's like the largest risk reward that my system can offer. Like it's maxed out if trading systematically to both the targets at 20R, and I missed that trade. Some of the best trades in my system come 1 hour after NFP.
Oh, right.
1 hour. So just 1 hour after NFP, it's consistent and they're huge trades.
Right.
And, like there's a lot to be said about NFP and the way that it sets the market up.
And so in that instance, I'm thinking about where you live. Do you have to stay up quite late at night to catch that trade?
Well, that's why I missed it,
right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like I usually will try to take that trade just when I wake up in the morning.
Right.
Like, but, like that's the other thing. Like I don't necessarily sacrifice my quality of life for trading. Like if I'm tired, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not in that mindset where I have to be there and then I'm tired. And then usually, honestly, I find that if you stay up and do those things, you end up blowing
worse off. Yeah. Now, what do you think made you different from the average mum or dad trader out there?
Yeah. Okay. So as I said, like, I guess what made me different was that I was able to trust my intuition when it came to the education that I was receiving. I was able to trust that not only was I not there yet, but I hadn't found what I was looking for, and I wouldn't just boil it down to me not being capable. From the get-go, when I first started trading, really what I was looking for was the most real and tangible information about the market. That's what I was looking for. And I just didn't stop until I got to that information. Right. I spoke about this before, but I'm going to touch on it again. So the way that I was raised, I was really in an environment that gave me heaps of time to focus on exactly what I wanted to do. Like I really had no distractions. And I developed like really strong pathways in my brain in regards to how long I can focus and how much time I can spend doing something effectively to gain a result. And I have applied this skill, which I think is important, especially if you want to do something like trading. You have to be able to focus and, but I've applied this skill to heaps of hobbies and passions over the years, and I've succeeded in them. So I knew that I would be able to apply this to trading and have the same results. I had proven to myself that if I apply myself like this, I will have success. So it's like that allowed me to really believe in myself, and allows me to believe in myself with most things that I do, really. It's like, I know it's possible because, I really believe, I'm only human, man. And like everyone is capable of this if they can prove that sort of thing to themselves. Like trading is no different to any other thing. Trading is a part of this world, just like football or brain surgery, and if you put like 6 years, I think 6 years is like on average when people have their breakthrough in trading, you put like 6 years into anything, like you're going to end up good at it. And people just, I would say, maybe some people not, who knows, but I'd say statistically, if you really put your all into something for an extended period of time, you're going to learn some things and, you might have something by the end of it. But I think the problem with the retail market is that, let's say you're interested in, I'll use the brain surgery thing. Let's say you're interested in brain surgery and you graduate high school and you want to go to university to study that. What the trading industry does is they hand that freshly high school graduated child a scalpel and they throw them in the surgical pit and they go perform brain surgery on a human, on a live human. You know, like that's the comparison to an entry-level trader coming in the market to trade with their own money. You know, it's like without any education, and then and we act like that's completely normal.
Yeah, I know.
It's like it's not set up for you to win. Like you haven't been. It's just honestly, it's just crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Like I showed someone what I do recently, and then they asked me. They said, "So, do you think that they will stop letting retail traders trade the market so they keep them broke? You know, so they keep the retail traders broke?" And I said, like, it's letting retail traders come into the market and trade it that keeps them broke. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
now, what about like your friend? I'm thinking about. So you said you taught your friend what you do. He's doing all right. I mean, what do you think were the traits that he was able to show that enabled him to replicate what you're doing?
I guess like we did a lot of the back testing together, and you know, like he also believed in himself. We were having a look at it together in the beginning, right? So yeah, he was just along for the journey, really, and he was able to just see and trust in the system, and you know that it works, and
yeah. So he was almost able to leverage off your level of focus to try to get to the point where, you know, I suppose if you were getting distracted, he probably would have got distracted and done other things as well. Now, what about 3 things that novice trader can educate themselves on a price chart? What about that?
3 things that a novice trader can educate themselves on a price chart. Oh God. Okay. I think that firstly, you need to focus on unlearning. You know, unlearn and strive for reality and simplicity. You know, you need to learn how to think logically. I mean, okay, so do you really think that there is just one entity moving the market on your price chart all the time? You know, like no is the answer. There are multiple entities that have enough money to move the market. And if they all agree on the direction, you know, and there's an opportunity for them to all enter the market, price will flow. But most importantly, they all cannot disguise their own footprint. So if you can identify those footprints and wait for them all to appear, you might have, you know, a chance of getting the direction right. But, you know, how do you identify this footprint? You need to just look for larger moves. Where do they start? Where are their pushes along the way? You know, don't just look at the highs and lows. So I think that 3 things, like logical thinking, simplification, and identifying market footprints. You know, just look at the chart and trust yourself. Like, you know, you have to trust what you see, because that's the only way you can become profitable. Like, I really believe that, you know, trading is super personal. Like, I could show someone exactly what I do, and you know, there's a chance it's not going to work for them.
Good answer. Great answer in terms of, like, I mean, I think you're right. You know, it's not necessarily what, you know, look at this indicator or that price pattern. It's a case of analysing and understanding what's going on.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, dude, like, if you give people the best indicators in the world, or you if you like give them 2 options, it's like, spend 1 year looking at blank price action with a pencil and paper, or like, here's the best indicators, try and trade. So, you know, 90% of the time, I reckon that people are going to figure it out on their own. And then what they then have is something that their own brain has seen in the market that other people can't see. And then it's special to them and it's unique to them. And that's why it works, because, you know.
Yeah, that is something that keeps coming across on these shows, is that when people burn it into their brain enough and see it enough themselves, that's when it clicks, versus being told, like, this is how it works, A, B, C, D, E, you know, just follow this process and things will work out for you. But until you burn that into your brain, for whatever reason, that seems to be the thing that keeps coming up in these shows that the good traders are doing. Now, on a mindset point of view, I mean, did you have any issues around getting your mindset right, keeping it at the right level, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that I was lucky because when I first got into trading, I was also getting into Muay Thai at that point in time. So I had something physical that I could go and, like get the endorphins and use my body as it has, developed over time to be used. Like we evolved to be physical, not to sit in front of the chart. So I think that that's just crucial. Like if you are on the verge of profitability, you need a new hobby now. Like you need something that you are just as passionate as you are about trading to put your time into, because, like if I didn't go surfing all day and I wasn't like hundreds of meters away from my phone, and, like maybe I wouldn't be as profitable because I'd be out doing something like looking at my phone or thinking about my trade. It's like, retail traders don't have that luxury of going home at the end of the day, handing your positions over to the next time zone. Like we are at home and the computer's in the corner buzzing.
Yeah.
Just buzzing. So it's like, you need to create an environment where you are safe from yourself and your natural, your human nature. And then that will allow you to trust yourself more. So I think doing something physical, having a physical passion, something you can improve on that isn't trading, is crucial for your mindset. Stop trading. Like, don't trade if you want to have a better trading mindset. Like, minimize the amount of time that you're trading. Focus on something else that makes you feel good and feel happy. Stop worrying about trading,
Yeah, some good advice. Some good advice in there. Think about it, folks. Now, we're going to jump into some quick fire questions here, then wrap up. So, how long did it take you to go from newbie to consistently profitable?
1.5 years.
What's your favorite entry setup?
An unbiased trade from a major level, 1 hour after NFP, risk reward, 1 to 10 to the first target. Definitely.
What strategies do you use to exit or manage your trades?
Stop loss, take profit, break even.
What's your recommended trading book or resource?
A poem by Rudyard Kipling called If.
A poem, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read this poem every single day before and after trading for like a whole year.
Right.
That might have also attributed to my mindset,
Yeah. I'll check it out after this. What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
I've got no preferred broker, but I just use MT4.
Hey folks, ever wonder what broker I use? Well, I use Hanko Trade. It was a no-brainer because I was looking for a broker with good trading conditions and one that wouldn't restrict my leverage. Now, by joining Hanko Trade, I've also cut down my trading costs significantly with their super low commission of just $1 per 100K. You can learn more at hankotrade.com or just click the link I've put in the description. Do you want to walk us through your worst ever trade?
Shitty education when I first started trading.
It was on the back of that.
Like those are the only real trades that an entry-level trader takes, I reckon, in the beginning, because you've got a lot of money at stake. You don't know the outcome. Those were the bad trades I took, I reckon.
If you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Focus on creating an environment that makes you and those around you feel happy and in abundance. You got to enjoy your life as it is short, and stop stressing about becoming profitable. You need to let go of the need to become profitable and just shift your focus on being consistent as a person.
Nice. Now, before we wrap up, what's the best way for traders to get hold of you, or do you want them to get hold of you? I don't know if you do.
Yeah, I have Instagram, basically. That's it. So it's, let me just see. I can't even remember what it is.
I think it's Scott Free. I'll put a link in the show notes to that. So
_ Scott Free.
_ Scott Free. Okay, and it's Scott with just one T, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. One T, Scott Free. And I just post trades and I share. We'll do like a big breakdown of things on there and just share what I can.
Brilliant. Well, look, guys, a big thank you to Scott Free for sharing with us today. Everything discussed here, along with all those links, will be in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Scott Free in the search box on tradingnut.com. Until next time, wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, so there you have it. Interview done and dusted with Scott. Now, what we did afterwards was we shot a video where he breaks down some of the things he uses. In fact, they were key levels that he uses to trade off in detail. So you're going to see that across a lot of the major Forex pairs and get some insight into what he does now. It's a bit of a different kind of video, as I mentioned, but it's still quite insightful if you do go back and dive into it in a bit more detail. Right, now, Happy New Year for everyone watching the Trading Nut channel as we do sign off here for the new year. And do remember that Robot Builders Club bonus boot camp is now up there for the Christmas sale, which has been extended into the new year. So go and check that out. If you didn't join or missed it before the Christmas sale ended, then you still have a chance to jump on board and get those 3 amazing bonuses, including that first ever boot camp. Yeah, that's it, folks. Do have a safe and happy New Year's Eve, and we'll see you in 2023.